Hey Beans, is this your favourite place? This is your favourite place to be? What have you got in your ear? Oh, my baby. My little baby. You sleepy? You sleeping in Daddy's shirts? You miss Daddy? Look at those eyes. Look at those eyes. Look at that ball patch. What's that about, Beans? Weirdo. Hello and welcome to Babbles Travelling Yarns. This is my little podcast. It's all about crafting. This podcast is going to be about knitting, about weaving, and a bit about spinning because it's Tour de Fleece. Yes! So it is the 8th of July. There is a little dog barking, so I'm going to close the window. You probably can't even hear, and now I've mentioned it, so now you'll be like, oh my god, now I can hear it, Grace. Why did you even talk about it? Shut up, Grace. Ah, I know. I'm so annoying. Meh. Is this the start? I don't know if it should be, but I'm gonna go ahead with it anyway. I'm just gonna tilt it down. Where was I? So yes, this is Babbles Travelling Yarns. This is my podcast about things that I make with wool and other fibres. I think that covers everything. I'm drinking a massive pot of tea. Massive. Like massive. And yeah, so where can you find me? You can find me on Instagram as Vanawillemiel or Babbles Yarns. I have both of those accounts. Vanawillemiel is my personal account. Someone recently asked me where the name came from on my questions and answers section on my Ravelry group, which is the Babbles Travelling Yarns I think it's Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast Ravelry group. I have it linked down in the show notes because I've done show notes again, you guys. It's actually quite easy to do show notes once you've done good ones once, and then you can copy and paste, and things don't really change too much from week to week because projects tend to overlap, so it's good to just get them done once and then you can copy and paste and adjust, and it doesn't take as much time. Podcasting hints and tips. Yeah, so that's on the Ravelry group. Oh yeah, so somebody asked me where the name came from. It is a cringy name. Don't you love them? From a past life. An old boyfriend of mine was really into Lord of the Rings, and the name means beautiful daughter of William, and William is my dad's name, and I didn't really know what it meant at all, and I kept misspelling William, so it's Vanawillemiel. Yeah. So sometimes people who don't you know, sometimes when you meet people in real life, you know them by their Instagram name. So sometimes people call me Vanna, which is totally fine because in Elvish that means beautiful. I have to say that someone else called me that, so it doesn't seem like I'm really up myself. So that's where the name comes from. If you have any other questions about me and my life, as long as I feel comfortable answering them, I will, either on the podcast or directly in the thread. A lot of people have asked, they are visiting Ireland and would I recommend a few places, and I do have some standard answers for that. If someone would like me to do a little podcast about that, that might be an interesting little podcast, little vlog maybe, a little chat about advice on things to do in Ireland from my point of view, like a nitty, interested in history person point of view. So yeah, I am boiling. I'm suddenly boiling. Maybe it's because I'm suddenly talking. I'm also wearing wool, and it is an overcast day but quite humid and close weather, so I might take this off. But this is my most recently finished object that I finished in the last podcast. It is the drift pattern by Kristen Finlay. I made it much bigger and it's much kind of looser, loose fitting, and it's really long, and I made it out of 2 naturally dyed sock blanks from Ninja Chickens, and I kind of tend to wear it like scrunched up a little bit, super relaxed and cozy, and it was really nice this morning when it was cooler. Now I'm roasting. So I might take it off. Cheekest. Yeah, I'm gonna take it off. Can't do it. Can't do it, guys. Okay. But I did talk about it. So there we go. That's what I'm wearing. And oh, that's so much better. yeah, so if you want further information about this, have a look at my previous podcast, just the one before, which was number 71, I believe. Yes, number 1. Yay! So that's kind of it. You're here on YouTube, I assume. You might be on Ravelry if I pick up the guts to copy and paste my show notes over on Ravelry. Ooh, fancy. But going through and like magic linking everyone in Ravelry, it's just a step too far, guys. I'm sorry. I just can't. So I'm going to announce the winner for the giveaway that I had last week. So last week was all about the Tits Out Collective yarn inspired by Countess Blaze, and I was going to give away this skein of Tits Out Collective yarn. Now this has been reskeined a couple of times because I had a bit of an incident. This is the colourway. It is inspired by Countess Blaze with her "If I Want Exposure, I'll Get My Tits Out" colourway. And I had 8 up for sale. I kept back 2, one for a giveaway for the podcast and one for myself. Now, I was a fool and I just kind of left my skein in my craft room on a table beside lots of other things. And of course, Beans wanted it. So this skein was all ready. And it was going to be the giveaway skein, but Beans decided that no, mommy, this one's too yummy. This one's too yummy. This one is now mine. So this skein, which was already hanging up on my wall, kind of ready to be mine, is now the giveaway skein. Yay! To be honest, this is really easy to fix because it's non-superwash. I can just spit splice them together. So I'm still going to use this. It's totally fine. But just now it has extra Beans love and Beans spittle. Thanks, Beans. So the winner, I used random comment picker, and the winner is Cindy Spurgeon. She says, love, 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 love the wool. Oh, the colour. Oh yeah, love, love, love the yarn colours, she said. Thank you so much, Cindy. They weren't really my idea. I was given the, you know, instructions by Countess Blaze. It's Countess Blaze's original colours. So I have in total donated €40 towards the Abortion Support Network. I only had time to dye 10 skeins. And I didn't want to overreach myself. And you know what? €40 is better than nothing. There are some people who have made an incredible amount of, you know, just fantastic. And there's so much that has gone on. So it's a small drop in the ocean, but it is still one drop. And what is an ocean made of? Drops. So there you go. Thank you so much to everyone who has already bought one. And thank you so much to everyone who commented on the last video to win one this time, because the comments really help with the podcast. So thank you so much with that. And it was really nice for everyone to kind of, I think a lot of people don't comment because they either, you know, they don't have time, or they don't, you know, maybe they do have something to say but they're not sure, or maybe they're not signed in, or you know, something like that. But it's really nice to actually hear from the actual people who listen to the podcast. So thank you so much for commenting. I do love hearing from you, and I think I've answered almost everybody. Apart from people who just kind of left one, you know, just like, love everything. I'm like, cool. You know, so I was like, cool. Yeah, so congratulations, Cindy. I want you to contact me either on my email or Ravelry. All the contact details are just down below, and send me on your email address and I will get onto you. I'll send this out to you as soon as physically possible. Congratulations! Yippee! I'm really happy for you. And now I'm putting this away super safe where Beans will not get it. He's the worst, but the best. So I just got back from Project Baba at this big kind of agricultural show called Sheep 2018, which was run by Teagasc, which is our kind of government body for farming in Ireland, I think. Yeah, I think it's like, it covers like food and environment and farming animals type thing. Yeah, so we had a great time. We were invited up by Deborah of Project Baba, which is something that they are hoping to introduce into schools as a kind of a curriculum, I think, part of the curriculum, a fibre arts curriculum, which would be so interesting. So they're kind of ramping up to that. So it was kind of their launch this weekend. It was in a beautiful barn, huge barn. They'd done it up really nicely with loads of like decorations, and we were given a lovely space just beside the shearer, and we were able to watch all the shearing demonstrations, which was great. I did get some of the fibre from the shearer. It was a mixture of it was a Suffolk Texel cross. And there was something else mixed in there as well, but it did have quite a long staple, so I'm quite impressed by it actually. It was quite nice. So you can have a look at all of that on my little vlog that I put up last night. I managed to edit it and upload it in like 20 minutes. I don't know how. No, I edited it in like an hour, and then it uploaded super fast. Like the last podcast that I tried to put up took forever. I don't know, it must be like bandwidth speed or something. I don't know, maybe Saturday night people have more important things to be doing than being on the internet, apparently. I don't know who these people are, lame-os. Yeah, so that's what I was doing. That was actually the kickoff of Tour de Fleece. I was demonstrating with the Guild, the Irish Guild of Weavers, Spinners and Dyers, and it was great. Loads of people, loads of members came down and volunteered to spin on the day. We had a whole line of people spinning. It was great. Spoke to loads of people. There was, if you've ever seen, oh actually I will link it down below. If you've ever seen on YouTube, every so often there's a video or two that go around in the local spinning circles, where in like Facebook normally, in the Facebook spinning groups, of this film called Hands. And it's based on, it's a documentary series that was filmed for the Irish TV channel TG Cahir, which means teenage, like television. I can't say it in English. I can't translate it. It's an Irish TV channel, but they generally speak in Irish. But this show, this program was in English, I think. Yes, it is. It is. But it speaks all about all of the different industries in Ireland that was dealing with their hands. And there's a fantastic one on the wheel maker, the Shields wheels, or the Donegal spinningwheels.ie. Johnny Shields' father and brother were in it back in the 1980s. And then there's also a fantastic one on the different types of spinning all over the country, and you know, the different types of wheels that were available and stuff. It was really fascinating, really excellent. So they are down below, and I'll also give you the if you want to support the woman who was doing the filming. Her husband, I think, passed away a couple of years ago, but she was there beside us and she was selling the DVDs, and I'm so mad I didn't buy them, but I'm trying to be good and not spend like hundreds of dollars, hundreds of euros at everything I go to. But I wanted to get the entire series because it's a really interesting documentary series on Irish craft in the 70s and 80s. And crafts that were dying out and we're hoping to revive. Yeah, so if you want to have a look, it's hands.ie is the website where you can buy all the DVDs and support a fabulous family. Really interesting family. She's got all of her daughters and sons have like married really people from far off distances, and they're all over the world now. It's really nice. Johnny Shields was there as well, whose brother and father were in one of those documentaries on the wheelwrights, and he is, of course, is always wonderful. Oh, I bought a spindle off him. Damn it, I can't find it because I can't seem to hold on to spindles. I don't know, I bring them for demonstrating and then they kind of walk off. Oh, so annoyed. But I'm hopefully going to see him again soon, and he's going to sign it with a wood burner. Oh, so excited. So that's going to be great. Yeah. So I will do that, and I'll probably keep my spindle with me actually, maybe for the Tour de Fleece, and just try and do a little bit of spinning on the go. Might be nice to kind of bring it, I don't know, spinning, because knitting isn't weird enough, hey? Yeah, so who else was there? Eddie Doherty, the hand weaver that I went to I did a Donegal vlog, and I linked that down below. Or I wonder, can I figure out how to put it on the video somewhere? Probably not. I don't know how to do those stuff. Psh, someone tell me. Hannah, you're smart at that sort of thing. Maybe you could tell me. Yeah, so he was there and he was lovely, and I got a few, I got lovely shots on that. So yeah, if you're interested, pop over to that. Yeah, I'm just recapping my little day. So what have I been knitting? I finished something. I have got this kind of urge to try and clear my needles a bit, to try and knit down my whips. And it's really quite satisfying. So I have a pair of socks that have been on the needle, actually off the needles, kneading, finishing for 7-8 months. It's really bad. These were the Afterthought Everything socks. Oh, they're not on my sock blockers. I forgot I had those socks. I can start wearing them now. Sorry, I had my sock blockers up here. They have my St. Patrick's Day one socks. So now I can put on my stripy socks, my stripy Afterthought Everything socks. So these were started as part of the virtual knit nights, the International Virtual Knit Nights. We had a knit along for these ages ago. God, it might even have started in September. So I wanted to try 9-inch circular needles, and I wanted to use some beautiful self-striping from Strand Designs. Karina Conran, I don't know if she's dyeing yarn anymore. Her Etsy shop is closed, but yeah, I'm not sure if she's dyeing anymore. But I do have one more skein of self-striping yarn that's so precious. I never want to use it, especially if I'm never going to get it again. But anyway, so these were, they were in 2 pieces. All I needed to do was add the heels, and they went into a bag and I just didn't do it. So bad. So I picked up the needle, I picked it up and I just did it one night, and it took me maybe, oh God, probably about 3 hours to do both toes, or both heels. So all I need to do is the heels. So in the Afterthought Everything sock is, I think I started, I can't remember if I started, I think it was cuff. I think I did a cuff to cuff. Everyone else did toe to toe. I'm like, nah, I start cuff down, so I just did it the way I do it. So I started that cuff and I knit a big, long tube. So it was a big, long tube. And then I cut it in half and I knit 2 toes. And then I put it in a bag and I forgot about it. But I really like the way Afterthought heels are brilliant for self-striping socks. It doesn't break up the striping. I knit around, I did about 5 to 6 rows before I started decreasing, just to give myself a little bit extra space across the bridge of my foot here. And it works, so that does work. I haven't worn these yet properly because I've been saving them for the podcast, but I finished them on like Monday or Tuesday night. It was really, really quick. It's Sunday now at the moment, by the way. Yeah, so they're not exactly matching, but they're fairly close. I tried to get them in the middle, but when I had split the socks, the stripe was a bit off on it, you know, so I've got a bit of a thick stripe here and I don't have the start of something here. So the heel part of the sock didn't, I placed the heel nicely on this one right in the middle of this stripe, so it would open out and it would form a stripe that was kind of relatively the same. Do you know what I mean? So I picked up all the needles on this in the center of this stripe here, and then I cut it and opened it out, and then I knit around, starting with the color, and it worked out that the stripe looks sort of similar. The lovely thing about these stripes is that they're kind of variegated, so you can't really tell where they're stopping and starting, but they're very obvious from far away. I love this colorway. I can't remember what it's called now. I really can't remember what it's called. It's so pretty. Yeah, so these are ready for wearing now. Well, not now, but they're ready for wearing in they're not blocked or anything, but I don't really generally tend to block my socks. Yeah, so they'll be ready for autumn, which is really nice. I feel like I need to stretch the other one too to make it match. So yeah, I've got a couple of different, so that's one sock down off the needles. Hurrah! And I have three more on the needles. One I haven't changed very much, so I'm not going to talk about it. It's the Darth Vader socks from Gamer Crafting. So I'm not going to talk about those because there's no real point, because I haven't got very far on them. But they are my nighttime knitting, so I have them up in the bedroom because I don't need to think about them. I just go round and round and round. So if I'm listening to an audiobook and James wants the light off or something, I can just sit and knit in the dark, or I take it to the cinema and I just sit and knit into the dark. So they're my nighttime knitting. So that's my only finished object this week. I have one pair of socks that I'm working on, and then lots of swatches. So let's talk about the actual thing, the only thing being actively knit on. And I was sorting out my stitch markers and I found this lovely one from Shamika. And when I visited her in New York, she made me up a set of stitch markers. So Shamika has a stitch marker shop on Etsy called Mecha Shop, and I'll link that below as well. Must remember to do that. So Shamika actually sent me this yarn, this Fleece yarn, and I thought it was really nice. So I don't really need stitch markers on these socks, but it was nice to just have it there on the side. So that's nice. So these socks, now they're quite an adventure really. These socks are Fleece socks. I'm doing a really small slip stitch detail, which looks beautiful, but I don't know if I'm going to continue it for much longer. Oh, I just keep knitting past the change because I often don't look at my knitting. So every single stripe I've had to rip back and redo that bit. It just feels slow. Anyway, so I think I won't do it for the sole of the foot, definitely. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I should for the bridge of the foot, so I can look at it, or the arch of the foot. So when I look down, I can be like, oh, they're so cute. I'll see. I've got this far. I might as well keep going a little bit. Anyway, hopefully, we'll see. So I was experimenting with a new heel. So that was the afterthought heel that I did there. But on the last episode, I discovered the new depths heel, which is a heel pattern by Becky Sorensen, or the Soprano Knits. And this heel pattern, there's quite a lot of sheets in it, but you really only need 2 sheets. But she's really, really good in that she has loads of detail in it. She's got like illustrated step-by-step guides, and she also has YouTube videos to show you how to do the particular stitch that you need to do. So the new depth heel is a short row heel that gives you extra space, gives you a bit of an extra gusset. And I really quite like the line that it forms. And it was really easy. Once I'd done one, I was like, I don't even have to look really at the pattern. I think I looked at it once, but I didn't have to look at the pattern again. You just figure it out. It's easy peasy. So these are I wonder if I can put them on a sock blocker to show you properly without making everything fall off. Such challenge. So I did these at work actually. So they're like, I didn't really need too much time. I tend to do that. I tend to just do things wherever I need to do it. Because I find that if I have to wait until I'm at home, I have to think about it, they never get done. They get put in a bag and never get done. So you might as well do it wherever you are. If you get half an hour break or whatever, there's no reason why you can't do half a heel or whatever. I don't know. I didn't find it difficult to sort out. So let me see if I can show you this. So this is the new depths heel. I used some contrasting Regia, just in their white ecru colour, just for a bit of strength on the Felici heel. I find Felici just feels a little soft. just a little soft. And I know lots of people were in the comments saying, you know, oh, don't underestimate Felici, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm wearing mine forever and they're fine. And then I've got other people who are like, oh, my Felici fell apart in 2 seconds. So I'm just erring on the side of caution. So yeah, so this is the New Depths heel. So as you see, there's a tiny little gusset in here. And I like the word tiny, because the worst thing for me about a heel flap and gusset is that damn gusset decreasing down. Ugh, shoot me. It's the longest part of the sock. I hate it so much. Oh my God, seriously, it wrecks my head. And then when you're trying to do it 2 at a time, because I do 2 at a time, it's even more confusing because you can't move your stitches around the way you, no, don't like it, don't like it, don't like it, don't like it. It probably does fit me the best. Don't like it. I will probably do it again. You know me. I change my mind every so often. But this was really interesting and super quick. It was super quick once I got going. Yeah, so what is happening there? Just pull out. Just stop being annoying. Just stop. You're gonna kink? Are you gonna kink on me? No, you're not gonna kink on me because I'm not having that today. Thanks. So that's the New Depths. I'm just decreasing a few more stitches. I think I only increased by 3 stitches or 4 stitches on either side. So yeah. So, and I really like the way the color, she gives you instructions for just doing it in the color of the sock you're using or in a contrast color, and she tells you where to adjust it and stuff. So that was nice. Thanks, Becky. Super nice. So yeah, and I've done two heels and now I'm on the home stretch now. So yeah, I'll see if I want to continue doing that little slip stitch detail. It does look pretty, doesn't it? I probably will. Anyway. It is a beautiful colour, isn't it? It's kind of my colours. I do love it. Pretty. So I'm kind of flying on these socks, hey? I've got quite, you know, I'm not a fast knitter, any sense of the word. I think I make time for it and I just take it everywhere with me, which gives me more time because I do it when I'm sitting waiting, you know, standing at the post office or things like that, you know. So I now have lost my place on the side of that. I'm going to leave that for future Grace to worry about. Yeah, she is great. She takes on a lot of my problems. Future Grace. So you may remember last week I was talking about my interest in casting on a jumper, a cardigan or a jumper or a sweater, some form of garment with pollen, which is a hedgehog fibres colourway, and I got the name wrong of the other colourway. So this is pollen, this is the hedgehog fibres. This is not fool's gold. Fool's gold is kind of this colour with a little bit of green dashed in instead of mostly green with a little bit of this colour dashed in. This is pod. Sorry. So this is the pod colourway. Beautiful green with flecks of like a mustard tan orange through it. So nice. And this pollen is just the most beautiful kind of honey green, honey yellow. It really is pollen. That's it. That's the colour of pollen, isn't it? So I have it matched in with my amazing Cottage No. 9 bag. I love it with the mustard. I love it. So Cottage No. 9, this bag. Oh, and also my lovely pin from a friend who came to see me at Willen, which was really nice. Thank you. So Cottage No. 9 bags. They will be down in the details down below. So it makes a little handle. I use this as a handbag for like the whole of Willen. I love it. So then you just leave the handles down and open it out, and the handles just neatly tuck away so they're not like getting in the way. Do you know when you're, I'll just tip this down a little bit so you can see. Do you know sometimes the handles that like fold over, you're always like kicking them out of the way to try and get in the bag, but these handles just like fold so neatly. I love it. And then you just pick them up, off you go. Boop. You can do it that way, or you can fold them over like this and do it this way. But I just do the fastest way. That's it. I love this bag. I'm sure she has them in her shop still. She has different fabrics as well. I love her bag so much. and she's local to me. She's a Limerick lady. Yay, Limerick. So yeah, I've not totally decided on a sweater. So I was at Project Baba and I was looking over and I saw a woman sitting down and she was spinning with Johnny Shields, and she had a Zweig sweater by Caitlin Hunter around her shoulders. And I went over and I was like, oh my god, I love your jumper. And she's like, oh my god, I love you. And I'm really annoyed that I can't remember her name. Will you comment down below if you, just so I know your name, because it's terrible. I have the worst memory on earth. But she came back and she bought one of my yarns, one of her first ever indie dyed yarn, because I had some of my yarn there as well as Babbles yarns, as well as running around with the guild. So it was really lovely. I had a couple of people come up and say hello and buy the yarn, which was so nice. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, I was looking at his Zweig. I was like, oh, that actually does look nice, and I have definitely got enough. And I have a lot of people contacting me on YouTube underneath the last YouTube video, the last YouTube podcast I did, saying the Zweig was really good as well. And I'm like, oh, but I really think that the Zweig looks better with a light colour on the lace as opposed to a dark colour on the lace. It doesn't really speak to me, but I get it. I get where you're coming from, but for me, I think the lace would be lost in this dark colour. Because let's face it, I wouldn't really be wearing it against my pale skin. I don't think I would. Maybe isn't enough to commit to a whole sweater, if you know what I mean. So I think I've decided on the Pavement. On the Pavement sweater with edging details on this, mainly because I have the Pavement in my library. Somebody bought it for me as a gift for my birthday a couple of years ago. Thank you so much to who you are. I don't know who you were. I can't remember. Probably, it's definitely in my inbox somewhere, but I didn't look. But the Pavement is a sweater which has been recommended to me as well. Boxy, I don't have it in my Ravelry. I haven't bought it yet, and I really want to start using the patterns that I actually have bought. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with. But all I've been doing is swatching. This is tiny swatch. I'm swatching in the round. So I have just, so I think I started swatching. Let me tell you how I do my swatches sometimes. And I thought it was a good idea to do some hedgehog fibre swatches because I have quite a lot of hedgehog fibres. So it's probably worth having a swatch to keep, and then I can just use it as reference, and then I don't need to swatch, you know, the sock base anyway, because their base will always be the same. I know my hands won't always be the same, but in general it probably would be a good bet to do. So the bottom one there has 6 little bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6 little bumps. Now that was done on a size 4mm needle, or 6 US. Now I put in the bumps according to the US needle size, which are written on all of the needles that I have. I'm using Hiya Sharps to swatch. And I just find that because you can't really do a 4.5 bumps. You can't really do that. So it's handy to have. I also will write a little tag to say what yarn it is and which brand of needles I was using as well. And then this one here has, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one has 6 bumps, this one has 5 bumps. So size 5 in US is 3.75. Yeah, 3.75. Just to get a bit of a tighter gauge, because I thought this was a bit sloppy down here. I don't know what this row is all about. But, and then this one up here is a 4.5. So I'm going to put 7 bumps because it's size 7 US. So it's just kind of a good way to record as long as you always do it consistently. It's a good way to record your swatches and what needle sizes you used. So I'm going to finish off this little bit, and then I'm going to block it and then weigh it down. I'm going to be really good with this one. Yeah, so I had a little look at the Pavement pattern, and the Pavement pattern is a really simple pullover, really elegant design, I think. It has very fast increases, raglan increases, very fast. The neck seems a bit wide from people who I've spoken to about it, so I might cast on a smaller size than I need for the neck, and then increase to the size of my actual bust. It says to allow, I think it goes with about 12 centimeters ease. It's kind of a loose and more positive ease garment. It's not super fitted around the bust or the belly, which is nice, because I'm kind of I'm a little bit into flowiness at the moment. I also really want to knit the Tegna sweater with River Knit's Starry Night. Really do, guys, but I'm going to focus on this at the moment. Can't cast on everything. I'm trying to cast off everything. And maybe that's why I haven't really cast on another garment, because I've only finished one pair of socks. I mean, it was something, but there was only 2 heels. Like, I've got 3 socks, 2 shawls, and 2 jumpers for James, which I haven't really. We'll talk about the other jumper for James anyway. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on with this. So I think I'm going to go for the Pavement. I do understand where you're coming from with the Zweig. There's something about that pattern that just does not speak to me. It's immediately observable, and you know when someone has made it, if someone is wearing it, that they are a knitter with a capital K, right? So that's why I go to them and say, oh, it's lovely, it's so nice, but there's something about it that makes me not really want to knit it. I don't know. I think Kay and Dan were talking about this a couple of podcasts ago on their Bakery Bears podcast, where they were basically saying that, like, when you see everybody else knitting it makes you not want to knit it. I know that seems really stupid, but it's true a little bit, you know. I don't know. But when it first came out, I was a bit like, meh, and I'm still a bit like, meh, even though it does look super impressive for a lot of people. But I have seen some where the lace drops past the boob level, and it just looks a little bit, I don't know. I'm not sure about it. We'll see. Maybe in time. I don't know. I just don't know. I keep on looking up at this wall of wool. Have you not seen my wall of wool? Let me just show you. So pretty. There's so many garments up there that I cannot wait to start knitting. I see a Vintersol that I'm just desperate to cast on. I see a Nugget. Oh, I see so many things. I see a Fade. I see a Chuck. I see Chucks in every skein of yarn. Still haven't decided to do that anyway. I still need to figure out my cables. So I'm just kind of knitting away now because I can't stop. So I'm just going to put that away. So that's the plan for the moment with those. I'm going to see how I go with that. Now I've been swatching so let's talk about Jumper for James then. Jumper for James is, my partner is very tall. He is 6'8" high, and he's not super broad. He doesn't have like a 50 or 60 inch chest. You know, he's not super barrely. He's thinner, but it's just so many stitches. So I'd started a Fair Isle jumper, and now it's on hold because I have put it away. There's some things wrong with it that I might have to redo, and I just can't face it. So when we went to Kerry in another vlog, I picked up some Kerry Willamills wool from the Aran Sweater Market, and I also bought a pattern for his family crest, for his family sweater. The it's all on the website. I paid about €8 for it. Not worth it. The worst pattern ever. Oh, it's the worst. Like, I suppose it's not the worst. It's just super old-fashioned, and I don't even know. I think I threw it out. How bad is that? No, it's just not great. Can't say the words I want to say. PG podcast. Yeah, so kind of, there's no charts on it, there's no picture, so you don't know what it's supposed to look like, apart from, so I have to look it up on the internet for the picture that's like, that it was selling it to me. There's loads of different instructions like scattered on all different pages. It's not cohesive, it's very difficult to understand. So yeah, it's not the pattern for me. So I've kind of taken it upon myself to try and design my own pattern. I was looking at the lovely Carol Feller. She has a really interesting pattern in her Contemporary Irish Knits book, which is like a hoodie pattern, but I don't want to have the hoodie. I just want just a jumper for him. So I got this light grey 200 gram skeins. It was about €13, €12.95 for 200 grams. You know, it's rustic wool, proper woolly wool. You can see that it's actually heathered. It's got this kind of grey going through it. It's lovely stuff. It's really, really, really rustic. And then when it blocks out, it blocks out a little bit softer again. So I did a moss stitch swatch, and it is a little softer than it was. But the thing is that I don't want it super soft. I want it to last him forever if I'm going to make it right. So I really like the way this moss stitch looks. So I put a little tag on it. Kerry-Willem-Mills, Aran weight, 4.5 stitches to 1 inch, 18 stitches to 4 inches. And this was done on a 5mm needle, which is quite handy. So then I started looking at all these different, I've got lots of stitch dictionaries, and I've got Nora Gaughan's cable source book. So I've got this 750 stitches to knit, and then Nora Gaughan's book as well. And I was trying to just think of like interesting cables to do. I love braids and I love twists, so I want a couple of these in there. I want a central cable which kind of looks a bit like staghorns, because James's crest is Doherty, which originally has a stag down the centre, but the stag it kind of started in the middle of nowhere and ended in the middle of nowhere. It kind of looked a bit choppy. I didn't really like it. I wanted a more seamless design up the front. So I've been having a look at this book, 750 knitting stitches, and I kind of had come up with this sort of pattern here. It wasn't my design, like I just robbed a few stitches from Nora Gaughan's book and then another book. But this cable here, I'll show you what it looks like. It's not as I suppose defined as I wanted it to be. It's not as big. It's not as kind of big and central. You know, you kind of need a centerpiece. This one here, Sloping Diamonds, it's called. And it looks like, I don't know, it kind of gave this sort of staggy feel, I thought. It was quite nice. But so I'll show you the swatch. I'm in the process of knitting it, so forgive me now. But so I did a few little tiny twisted cables and then a center bigger twist. This is just a kind of and I'm doing all this without a cable needle. Yay! It's not that hard, guys, it's fine. Just kind of practice swatch. So this is 1/2 of the stag thing. So it would be here, and then you'd have it mirrored on the other side. So I think it would be okay, but I've seen a couple of really nice ones, and they remind me of the antler hats from the Tin Can Knits. And I'll see if I can find them here. I'm probably totally going crazy with this, and I'm thinking about it so deeply that it'll never actually happen. Maybe that's my entire plan all along. So this is another one that I was looking at. The double wide cable up the front. That would be nice too, I think. This would be nice, but it's not really staggy, you know, so I want to keep to the stag theme. So the antler idea from, you know, the antler hat. I don't know if you do know it or not, but it's a nice one. I think there was one more, but oh yeah, this one, ornamental cable. I think this might be the one. I think that's the one I want to go with. It really does look like a stag, doesn't it? And I think I'm going to do a honeycomb panel, honeycomb panels on the side. Why not? Go crazy. Yeah, so I'm doing lots of little swatches with the wool. I've got tons of the wool, so I'm not worried about that. Yeah, so that's what I've been kind of playing with. I need to plan on the side. So once I've got the swatches, then I'll be able to measure my gauge. Then I'll be able to measure Jane's, and then I'll be able to measure out how many stitches to cast on and that sort of situation. Disaster? Possibly. So it may just turn, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be fun either way. And I'm going to treat the swatches now quite roughly now to see how sturdy this yarn is going to be to stand up to a bit of wear, because I want him to be able to wear it for ages. I saw at Project Baba, I saw a lad come up with an Aran sweater that didn't quite fit him. I was like, that's fine sweater there. He was like, it's obviously not mine. This sweater's over 200 years old. I was like, 200 years old? He's like, well, maybe 100 years old. I was like, that sounds a bit more like it, but whoa, it looked perfect. Perfect. But it totally was like, it was a lot shorter in the body and the arms were shorter. And he was like, yeah, I borrowed it for this event, you know, off of my uncle. He had it in the family forever and his family used to wear it. And I think it was made by one of my granaunts. And I was like, wow. Like, this sweater looked like it had just been bought. I just thought he'd bought the wrong size. So that's, so it's being held in this big IKEA basket of wool, which I think just looks really nice. So it kind of makes me want to work with it because I have it in the sitting room. So that's nice. Yeah, so that's the knitting that I'm working on at the moment. I am going to, I also have a little swatch that I was playing with. Now, I want to speak a little bit about some plant-based fibres, which I've been, I got recently a big shipment of plant-based fibres from the Himalayas, from the southern Himalayas in India. And a woman contacted me on the Facebook group, Nettles for Fibre from Nettles. And she has a collective of women in the mountains, in the cluster, she calls it, in the cluster, that hand collect and hand spin nettle fibre. The story is amazing. But so I basically took the plunge and I went like, I really wanted to support this. I want to see what it's like. I had to order like 10 kg of the stuff, but it's so pretty. I don't mind. It is completely hand spun. It is a single ply, hand spun nettle fibre. This thing sheds like a beast. Have the hoover ready. But it is actually really nice to knit with. I was knitting with, because I was knitting with flax recently, and this is way easier to knit with. I didn't want to stop knitting with it. I don't know, maybe it's just softer or more pliable. I'm not sure. I think the fibres that they were spinning with were much shorter than flax. It's spun quite woolen, I think. So these are, this is fibre from a place that traditionally spins cotton fibres. So I imagine that it's spun woolen from rolags. So this is the fibre, and I did a swatch. You can, actually the fibre is coming off it now. I don't know if you can see, but it's a lot of fibre coming off it. So I made a little swatch just to see what it was like. Now, this is my little swatch. So let me talk a little bit about twist. So this fibre is a single fibre, so it has not been plied. So when it comes in, it does twist. It does have quite a lot of active twist still in it. So I think that this, either I ply everything, which turns it into a worsted weight, or we kind of market it as a thing for weaving. Yeah, so I tried some stockinette here down the bottom, and you can see the stockinette is twisting. You can see that. Well, I can see that. It's kind of twisting in this direction, and that is because the twist is active in the actual yarn. So, but it is nice. And then the lace actually is not twisting. The lace is hanging very straight, and it comes out so pretty. I actually love that. I did try some cables. I knew for a fact that it would not work for cables. You can't really see it. It's not useful at all. I did a little bit of seed stitch, just looks like a mess. And the garter stitch is grand. Garter stitch I feel is always fine. So yeah, this would be really interesting for lace. Now to wear it, it sits on my hand. I find this is the itchiest part of me. Yeah, I wouldn't wear it just there. I think I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this. I want to dye it and see what it works up as, and I want to weave up a couple of things. It may actually be that I make something out of it and then sell it in my shop. So I make a set of coasters, or a set of placemats, or a runner for a table, and I actually sell those, or I sell the yarn itself in different dyes options. I'll see, because I don't know. I think it would be a really interesting experiment for people to buy some and work with it. And I really do want to support these women, but I think I might need to do something. I just don't know. Be very good exfoliating washcloth. Yeah, actually. Oh yeah, I could do those. I could weave little things of those, knit little bits of those. Yeah, that'd be quite good for like a scrubby yarn. So it does have quite a lot of vegetable matter still in it. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, but up here there's a little bit of... So when I was knitting with it, I was picking out quite a lot of vegetable matter. And because it is, of course, a vegetable fibre. So, you know, you are going to get those. It's not, you know, it's milled in the village, and it's hand spun in the village by the women. And yeah, so I just love the story behind it. I just absolutely love it. And I love that I'm able to give these women an opportunity to work and live in their own houses, in their own homes. They don't have to move to the city and, you know, get tangled up in that whole mess. I hung it outside to dry. It dried in like 10 seconds. It was great. And I put little pegs on the bottom to like weigh it down. And the pegs did leave a little mark. So when it does block, it blocks and stays. And it dropped a tiny little bit, but not very much. I don't know, it's really interesting. Let me know if you would be interested in buying some. I might just put some undyed into the shop. It's 100% nettle yarn, Himalayan nettle, which is Rami. Totally spun, broken down, washed, and sent straight over from India. And I like it. So if you're interested in different textured yarns for maybe weaving projects, or just kind of giving it a go and seeing what you feel like with it, doing with it, because I don't know, it's interesting. I love interesting things with a story. I love it. I'm definitely going to be experimenting with my own nettles in my own backyard in August. I have a week in August which I'm going to hopefully dedicate to nettle fibre, and I might release it at the same time. I might pop it onto the shop at the same time, just so people can get a little feel for what I'm working with. So that's really nice. So yeah, I was really happy with that little swatch. That lace is just really nice. It's really quite nice to find. I think that's the best thing for it, really, which I didn't really think it would be any good for. No, so, but it does shed. It does shed. So, because the fibres are so short. I love it. Okay. So that is what I've been knitting. Now at the show I wanted to demonstrate some weaving. So I got some cotton that I'd been working on with, I got it from Soster Grain at that shop that is in the centre of Limerick. I think it's around Ireland. I don't think it's in the UK yet, but it's a Danish shop called Soster Grain, or the Sisters Green, or the Green Sisters. And I did a warp, which was browns, like a light pink, a blush, and light pink, and then a brown, and so and 2 little stripes in the middle. I'm really into varying up your warp just to make the plain weave interesting, because it goes fast and it is interesting. So my plan was to just bring loads of scraps and to give people a chance to weave with it, and a cotton warp I found was just handiest just to start. So it's a fingering weight warp, so I have my 12 dent reed in place. This is where I store my shuttles when I'm doing it. They're kind of stored in between, so I lift up the shuttle and I put one in and put one out. And yeah, anyway, so I am just putting on scraps, lots of little scraps, and then in between each scrap I'm just putting one of these colours, these base colours, just to kind of separate it out. So this is a beautiful a little blue scrap. I don't even know where I got these from. I have a whole bunch of scraps in a drawer that people have sent me from previous projects and things like that. So this one's quite nice as well. So I'm keeping to a little bit of a pastel colourway idea, but as well, because the warp is pastel, it turns everything else pastel, so everything kind of works with everything else. So I'm really excited about this. I don't know what it's going to be. It might be like a table runner or something. There are a few yucky bits at the start from where people were learning and they were like pulling too tight and stuff. So I don't know, we'll see. But I am absolutely loving this like colour sense. And I really have to say that I've had a lot of people talk about it on their podcast. Arctic Knitting, she just took up, she just bought a loom and she's been weaving away like a lunatic. Love her. And then who else? Nora George, she's got this gorgeous loom as well, and I think her colourway really inspired me to do these kind of pinks, gentle pinks, and kind of a bit spring pastel colourway. I love her weaving. It's just beautiful. So yeah, that's my little weaving. On my shuttle, I've actually just wound random amounts of scraps that I have, and I'm just seeing what they come out like, really. There is a mistake here which I will be fixing when I'm finished. So I will probably do a little bit of a tutorial about how to do that. Because what I did, if you notice, there is a space just here. I misthreaded, so I missed a hole here. There are 2 threads through one slot. I missed the hole. So in the weaving, it looks there's actually 3 threads there. One of those was supposed to be beneath the other. So I'm going to be talking about how to fix that at the end of the weaving. So if you're interested in how I do that, then, you know, hang on. Watch the next one by clicking subscribe and maybe clicking that little bell that's there beside it, because that'll tell you when the next one comes up, you know, if you wanna. That's cool. 50 55 minutes. Oh my God, I've been going for ages. Jesus grace. So all I want to do is sit down and just weave now. That's the bad thing about weaving. You just want to do it all the time. So good. I taught a lot of people how to weave at the Project Baba. It was great. Just people were like, that looks so complicated. And I was like, sit down, try it. They were like, oh, it's easy. I was like, yeah, told you. So Tour de Fleece is happening. I can't decide what I want to do for Tour de Fleece. I've just got another fleece, a Romney fleece from the same farmer that I got last year. I also have my own colourway, my Tour de Fleece colourway for the Guild, which I have separated out into these little fluffy rolags. This is the Polworth. So it came out of this. Yeah, so I'm doing like a woolen spun yarn for that. And I have enough of it to actually make a sweater, which would be so nice in this colour, right? Yes. And then I also, gosh, sorry, I have a lot of rolags. Oh, cool. They're so cute, they're like ringlets. I haven't put away all my fibre equipment yet, sorry. I need to do that. Instead, I will leave it on the floor so I can fall over it later on in life. Great. Good plan, Grace. Good plan. So I've also got this gorgeous Romney's Vorpals cross that is all separated out into individual locks. And I can just start spinning straight from that. And that's enough for a sweater quantity too. So long and short of it is, I am going to spin a sweater quantity. I am 1 day in and I have not spun a thing. Ah, panic stations. Yeah, not really. So I am part of the Irish Guild of Weavers, Spinners and Dyers. On Ravelry we have a group for the guild for the Tour de Fleece, and we're joining along in there. We're posting our progress photos and what's happening, what's the happy haps. So that's really cool. Yeah, so that will be really fun. Oh, I love Tour de Fleece. It just kind of gives you a bit of, ooh, I haven't actually spun in a while, which is really bad. So it'll give me a bit of impetus to start, which would be lovely. Yeah. So I was watching a Tiny Fibre Studio, and her last week was talking about fine fibres, and she was talking about one particular lady, I can't remember now, but I can't remember her name. Margaret Stove, perhaps. But she is fantastic at spinning fine fibre, and especially from the locks. So she was talking about a method of washing the locks individually, hot water and then cold water. I could do that. I could do a few at a time, and then actually spinning straight from the lock, like brushing it out and then spinning straight from the lock. And I could do extremely fine fibre, but I don't know if I want fine. Maybe for a sweater I want thicker, cushier, you know? Just don't know. But that would be for like spinning lace. I don't know if I want to spin like that, or if I should blend them up into rolags and make a woolen spun yarn, which is airier and warmer. I should have planned all this before Tour de Fleece started, don't you think? So are you doing Tour de Fleece? What team have you joined? Do you think, do you have any particular challenges that you're setting yourself? Because I'm kind of just spinning. Even just spinning once a day would be great, to be honest. That's my low level expectation. So that is that. I think. Have I done? I think I am. Fantastic. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've had a lovely week, and I hope to see you again next week. I am going to be doing a dyeing course, a natural dyeing course with my friend Sandra from Meet the Wool. I'm going to be bringing up my own kit so I can like set up and be like, hi, but I need to find some natural dyes, not dye plants around. So I'll be doing a bit of maybe foraging in the woods somewhere. So I might take you along on that. Maybe on Instagram. Have he started doing the Instagram TV thing? I don't even know how to do it. but would you be interested? I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments. I've absolutely loved seeing all the comments from the competition, and congratulations to the winner as well. So thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you again next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe and give me a thumbs up because it helps other people find the podcast, and commenting also helps kind of push the podcasts up kind of and pop it into people's suggested lists, which would be really nice because I like talking to lots of people. Is that really selfish? I don't know. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.